Hello again, it's your friendly neighborhood host, JT Wheatley, back for another episode of the History Comics Podcast. This time on another edition of the Classics with, well, one of my all-time favorite stories, and frankly the one that got me into comic books, and that was the eventual Iron Man Armor Wars story arc that lasted from issues number 225 to 232, published from December of 1987 to June of 1988. And in the story, Tony Stark Iron Man discovers that his technology for his Iron Man armor suits has been stolen and is now being used by various villains around the world, and he decides to stop at nothing to make sure his technology is not used for evil use anymore, including breaking the law and becoming an outlaw himself. This is a great story in general, one, because it really shows the dedication Iron Man is to protecting and making sure his technology is never used for evil use ever again. But you also love the fact that, and especially with me, because I remember I was a 10-year-old kid when I read this, and the issue that always struck me was issue number 230, in which is Iron Man 1. You see, I think it's a brilliant cover of Iron Man in his black stealth armor, which is very cool in itself. And he's fighting the Crimson Domino and the Titanium Man, and the cover said, "And one dies." And I go, wait, superheroes don't kill in the comic books, but you read it and goes, oh no, someone does die. Pretty dramatically, and it shows, oh wow, there's a shade to this. Even though Iron Man is essentially trying to do a good thing, he's breaking the laws to do it. He ends up getting kicked out of the Avengers at one point. It's a very interesting book from beginning to end. It shows how he went from being more of a shady character, and really shows the dynamics of what superheroes go through to try to do good in the end, even if they have to break a few laws in the process. Written by David Michelinie, a great writer who has a great run on Iron Man for a very long time, and Bob Layden, who also did some great breakdowns and pencils and a lot of help with the story. Just a great looking book in general. Great different villains from the S.H.I.E.L.D. Mandroids he has to fight at one point. Titanium Man and Crimson Domino look fantastic. And of course, the main big villain, Firepower, which is brilliant. And also in the issue number 232, there's a nice almost dream sequence in which Barry Windsor Smith, the great artist, steps in to provide a very cool and stylistic issue as Tony Stark has to relive some of his greatest nightmares after going through one of his most dangerous missions. But yeah, Iron Man Armor Wars is one of my all-time favorite reads, and apparently it's going to be adapted into a Disney Plus series with this time Don Cheadle as War Machine, Jim and Rhodes stepping in, which will be very interesting to see how they do that adaptation. But yeah, classic Iron Man read, one of the quintessential Iron Man reads in general, and definitely check it out because it is a true classic.
Than a New Day pancake, more fun than a super kick party. It's the wrestling podcast from the host, who is the hammer swinging, burrito eating, well you know the rest, of Thunder Talk, Sexy Thor. It's the Ring of Thunder, found in the Thunderverse and among the great podcasts of the ESO Network.
Now it is January 13th, 2022, time for the favorite comic book of the week. Daredevil, The Woman Without Fear, number 1 by Chip Zdarsky and Rafael de la Torre, which finds Elektra in the middle of the current Devil's Reign event story arc that's going on, in which Wilson Fisk, who is now mayor of New York City, has basically outlawed all superheroes inside the city limits, basically doing his own limited New York City Registry Act. And Elektra decides to confront him personally, only him to reveal that he knows a dangerous secret about her that might upend her world. This is just a great read. That's a great extension of the Chip Zdarsky's overall Daredevil run, which had just a brilliant run, which I'll be honest, I haven't got a chance to get into yet. I heard nothing but brilliant things about it. But I am loving Devil's Reign and how Wilson Fisk has really elevated himself to one of the bigger, more powerful supervillains in the Marvel Universe right now. And Elektra's characterization here is fantastic by Zdarsky, in which it shows that she no longer doing this just to make her love Matt Murdock happy and not killing anymore. She genuinely wants to be a better person, but then something from her past could come and upend everything. So it's you really feel the tension here. You really are kind of rooting for her. And plus, she does make a pretty cool looking Daredevil, especially when it's done by Rafael de la Torre's art, and his female Elektra Daredevil costume is gorgeous, with some great flashback sequences and also some cool action sequences in this book. that really sets up for this character. I could go with this Elektra being Daredevil for quite a while longer, because this book is just that good. But I love the old school Matt Murdock Daredevil, but definitely pick this up. This easily the best read I had this week. And also, now that the new TV season is about to start back up again, of course, Superman and Lois has launched back up, Batwoman and DC Legends Tomorrow, and of course, most of those shows are pretty good. Superman and Lois is still so good because it's basically a family drama that happens to star Superman and Lois Lane, in which the focus is more on them just trying to be good parents to their teenage sons. Oh, but there's some supervillains running around that Superman has to deal with and so forth. So, this is a great show. Probably one, I think, just elevates the quality of the CW Arrowverse shows in general. This is just a great watch. And I have to say, Naomi, I was rather impressed with. I enjoyed it for the most part. I'm not familiar with the character from the comic book. I never got into that character when Brian Michael Bendis created her a few years ago back when he joined DC. But, interested. Always good to see more diverse comic book characters. So always you throw a new DC comic book show, I'll definitely give it a watch. But definitely some more good TV shows and so forth coming out, and of course a lot of great comic books too. And of course, once again, join me again next week for probably another edition of the classics. But until then, go and enjoy yourself a good comic book. If you can, pick up Iron Man Armor Wars, because that is a true classic.